Hi, I'm Melanie Gorelnik, and this is People Magazine. I'll be reading from People.com. The first story is The View's Anna Navarro says she'll be a miserable bitch and skip decorating for Christmas this year. Here's Why, by Dave Quinn. Anna Navarro isn't decking the halls this holiday season, though it's not because she's embracing her inner Grinch. On the Monday, November 24 episode of The View, the co-host admitted she's opting out of Christmas decorating altogether this year, even though she's usually the one who makes her home into a winter wonderland. "I think this year I'm not going to put it up," Navarro, 53, said as the panel discussed their decorating timelines. "I've always had 2 trees in my house and gone all out. But I'm not going to be in town, and it is so much work, and it is so much money. And then getting it down is even more work. And then schlepping that tree and the pines all over your house." Instead, Navarro said she's considering skipping the lights, ornaments, and pine needles entirely and spending the money and time on someone else. Me. Her confession came after Joy Behar kicked off the conversation by asking the table, "What's your timeline for putting up the tree for Christmas and breaking out the decorations?" Sarah Haynes shared that she typically waits until the day after Thanksgiving, though this year a run-in with her husband, Max Schifrin, left the couple divided over whether she had jumped the gun. It started when she visited a local toy store and bought her kids small gel window decorations. "The kids were putting them up. I got one little pack for each to put in the windows," she said, showing a picture of the Merry Christmas stickers. "He got so annoyed with me. He was like, 'So, we're skipping Thanksgiving?' I was like, 'No. You decorated.' 'That is not decoration. We haven't touched one dang box.'" Alyssa Farah Griffin noted that many men get dug in about early decorating, including her own husband, Justin Griffin. But this year, she said he gave in because she's pregnant with their first child. "I love the Christmas season. I want it to be longer," she said, sharing a photo of her newly decorated tree. "We put up our Christmas tree yesterday, but it just makes me happy, and I love Thanksgiving. You can enjoy both at the same time." Navarro's vow to skip holiday decorating this year hits a nerve in a debate that resurfaces every season and reliably explodes on social media. Whether it's TikTok battles over November 1 decorators or viral memes shaming people who wait until mid-December, the question of when to start celebrating has become a full-blown cultural fault line. But experts say there is more at play than just preference. Psychotherapist Amy Morin told Good Morning America in 2024 that early decorating can boost mood because it taps into happy memories and raises our feel-good hormones. Psychologist Deborah Serrani has echoed that point, telling the American Christmas Tree Association that festive decor can trigger a bump in dopamine, giving people a neurobiological lift. That's a point Farah Griffin has leaned on. "There's actual data that the holidays improves people's happiness, so I'm all for prolonging the season." "Well then, I'm going to be a miserable bitch then. But, more than usual," Navarro joked. The View airs weekdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on ABC. There is a picture from the show called The View, where there are 5 women seated at a wood grain table. Behind them there is the word "The View," and there's a big V that's gold, and it looks like there's like an illustration of Central Park behind them. And the women are all looking at Alyssa Farah Griffin. She's sitting in the middle and she's speaking. And one of the ladies is leaning over and grabbing her shoulder. And some people are laughing. Photo credit goes to ABC. That story was The View's Anna Navarro says she'll be a miserable bitch and skip decorating for Christmas this year. Here's Why, by Dave Quinn. The next story is Susan Powter recalls squirting her breast milk at a man in a restaurant after he criticized her for breastfeeding in public. By Kayla Grant. Susan Powter is recalling a tense interaction with a patron in her ex-husband's restaurant. The Stop the Insanity author, 67, recently chatted with Entertainment Weekly about her life before fame, when she was living in Dallas with ex Nika Villarreal and raising her kids. Powter recalled a moment where she squirted her breast milk at a patron in her ex's restaurant following his comments about her breastfeeding in public. "I was on the patio, covering with a cotton diaper," Powter recalled. "I was being very respectful. A man eating a steak, he was cutting a steak, and turned and said, 'That's disgusting. Go to the bathroom and do that.'" Powter told the outlet that she turned toward him and clapped back. "I said, 'You go to the toilet,' and I squirted breast milk at him in my husband's restaurant," Powter said. "Nobody supported me, so I squirted breast milk at him and his stupid steak." Powter lost her fitness empire, which once sold $50 million in products annually, after a series of bad business deals that left her bankrupt. Last year, in an exclusive interview with People, she said she had been struggling for years. "I've known desperation," Powter told People while living in a low-income senior community where a local charity handed out free meals twice a week. Desperation is walking back from the welfare office. It's the shock of, from there, now I'm here? How in God's name? In the early 90s, Powter was a cultural icon, with her thundering voice and frenetic vibe. She was spoofed by Saturday Night Live, and landed on People's list of most intriguing people in 1993. Legions of fans shelled out $79.80 for her Stop the Insanity program of recipes, workout tips, and motivational audio cassettes. And they made Powter a best-selling author 3 times over. They were drawn by Powter's personal story. A 260-pound Texas homemaker with 2 kids, whose husband leaves her for another woman, gets revenge by getting fit. Coupling that with her takedown of the diet industry and her "fat makes you fat" message, she seemed unstoppable. But Powter realized too late that she'd made a raw deal with her business partners, and by 1995 she declared bankruptcy. "There was nothing but lawsuits in the 90s, she said. Slowly, the remaining money disappeared. Last November, she met filmmaker Zebariah Newman, who proposed the new documentary called Stop the Insanity: Finding Susan Powter, which was backed by Jamie Lee Curtis. The response to the film and to her story has been very heartwarming, Powter told People. Curtis told People she's rooting for Powter, who also wrote a memoir about her journey. "Like so many women's stories, Susan's power and her light was diminished, denigrated, and dismissed," said Curtis. "Watching her fight for her rights and start to build back her life is also as much about the American dream as her success was." Powter told Today that she was broken when Newman first approached her with the documentary idea, but she hopes this marks a fresh start for her. "I want to be able to do what I did once before, which was miraculous, and this time it will be properly managed. I want to have a chance." There is an undated picture of Susan Powter, but I'm pretty sure it's from the 90s. I remember this look on her. She has cropped hair that's super short and platinum blonde. She's got these kind of severe eyebrows, big brown eyes, and red lips. She just has this very interesting hard and soft look, and she's smiling with a lot of power into the camera. That photo is courtesy of Ron Galella Limited via Ron Galella Collections via Getty. There is another picture of Susan Powter that is more recent. She is at some kind of a film event. Her hair looks very similar to how it was in the 90s, only not as platinum blonde, it's just more regular blonde, and a smidge longer on top. She's wearing some reading glasses, very light makeup, and has a tattoo above her left breast. And the picture only comes down to her shoulders. I wish there was more. I want to see more. Photo credit goes to Jason Davis via Getty. That story was Susan Powter recalls squirting her breast milk at a man in a restaurant after he criticized her for breastfeeding in public, by Kayla Grant. The next story is Woman wakes up in coffin after brother tried to donate her organs and have her cremated, by Abigail Adams. A woman recently woke up inside a coffin alive after being transported to a local temple for cremation. The 65-year-old from Thailand was being driven by her brother to the Wat Rat Prakong Thom Buddhist temple in the Nonthaburi province for cremation when the incident occurred on Sunday, November 23rd, according to the Associated Press. Parat Sudthup, the temple's general and financial affairs manager, told the outlet that the woman's brother said he heard a knocking noise coming from the coffin during the drive from Pitansulak province. Surprised, Parat said he asked them to open the coffin. That's when they saw the woman alive. Wat Rat Prankong Thom posted a video on its Facebook page that showed the woman moving some of her extremities while lying in a white coffin located in the back of a pickup truck, according to the AP. I saw her opening her eye slightly and knocking on the side of the coffin, Parat recalled. She must have been knocking for quite some time. The woman's brother claimed his sister seemingly stopped breathing 2 days prior after she was bedridden for 2 years, Parat said, according to the AP. The brother said he then put her in the coffin and drove 300 miles to a hospital in Bangkok. There, the man told hospital workers that his sister previously said she wanted to donate her organs, per the temple manager. However, the hospital declined since the woman did not have an official death certificate. Her brother then brought her to the temple, which offers free cremation. But without the document, he was turned away once again. Parat said knocking could be heard coming from the coffin as he spoke with the brother about how to properly obtain a death certificate. Everyone was startled, Parat said, of the moment he and others saw the woman alive inside the coffin. The woman was transported to a nearby hospital after she was found alive, according to the AP. The temple will cover her medical expenses, Parat said, citing the abbot. There is a picture of the woman in the coffin as she was arriving, or maybe they were opening it up, and the coffin is white on the inside and the outside. The woman has very short black hair, and she's wearing a floral white top and a floral skirt that's more colorful. And in that picture, she does not look alive, but the picture next to it is a more closer picture where her arms are up in the air, and you could see someone is kind of grabbing her arm. Very freaky. Photo credit goes to Viral Press. That story was Woman wakes up in coffin after brother tried to donate her organs and have her cremated, by Abigail Adams. The next story is Sabrina Carpenter arrests gorgeous Miss Piggy at her final short and sweet tour show. I'd know that face anywhere, by Daniela Avila. Sabrina Carpenter has chosen her final guest to arrest, and some may say she saved the best for last. During her final short and sweet tour show in Los Angeles on Sunday, November 23rd, the man-child singer, quote, arrested none other than Miss Piggy in a fun segment before singing Juno. "You guys are so beautiful, it should be a crime," Carpenter, 26, said on stage before looking at Miss Piggy, who was with fellow Muppet Bobo the Bear, according to footage from the moment on TikTok. "Like you, gorgeous," I'd know that face anywhere. Excuse me, what is your name?" Then the Muppet pulled out a microphone and she cleared her throat before announcing, "Miss Piggy." After the crowd roared, Miss Piggy added, "There are so many people here tonight." Carpenter said that nobody prepared her for Miss Piggy's attendance at the show, and she asked her if she was having a good time. Yes, I'm loving it. I mean, I do have a few notes," Miss Piggy responded. "I'll share them with you after the show." When the Go-Go Juice singer said it was Miss Piggy's turn to get arrested, Bobo the bear, who's a security guard, cut in and said he had a pair of handcuffs of his own. Then he shoved her away as the song started. "Let's go, Pig. Tell it to the judge, sister," he said. The Short and Sweet tour wrapped with 6 shows at Crypto.com Arena, where she also, quote, arrested SZA, Dakota Fanning, and Elle Fanning, and Maya Rudolph for being so hot. Carpenter began the second leg of her Short and Sweet tour in October, and she incorporated songs from her latest album called Man's Best Friend. During a September interview with Zane Lowe on Apple Music One, Carpenter detailed how a newer heartbreak experience inspired her 7th studio album. "I think I came out of a sad situation, a lot less bitter than I intended or expected to," she said. With a little bit more of the like, you know what? There's 2 people involved, and this is part of growing up. The Taste singer also said that the music feels very reflective of this time in my life, where you don't really have a lot of time to sort of mope and weep. You kind of just got to get back out there, and not even in a dating way, not even in a romantic way, but just get back out there in terms of if you're staying inside and you're thinking about how everything's going wrong, everything's going to go wrong and you're going to be inside, she said, adding that it was about shifting her mindset to recognize that she's not damaged, even if she's been hurt. There is a picture of Sabrina Carpenter taken in New York City in September 2024. She's performing and she is sitting on stage wearing these really sparkly, super tall boots. She's wearing also a pink rhinestone sleeveless kind of very short dress, has very long blonde kind of wavy hair with bangs, and she is leaning back singing into a glittery microphone. Photo credit goes to Christopher Polk with Rolling Stone via Getty. There is also a picture of the grand and beautiful Miss Piggy. She is wearing a gray dress that has buttons just under her cleavage, a pearl necklace, lavender satin gloves with a large amethyst ring on her right hand. She is behind bars and is holding onto the bars, and her blue eyes are very magnetic, and her blonde hair is cascading down. Photo credit goes to Holton Archive via Getty. That story was Sabrina Carpenter arrests gorgeous Miss Piggy at her final Short and Sweet tour show. I'd know that face anywhere. By Daniela Avila. The next story is Erica Kirk reveals what J.D. Vance told her during their intense on-stage hug, by Meredith Kyle. Erica Kirk said she doesn't understand the fuss about her recent on-stage hug with Vice President J.D. Vance. At an October 29 Turning Point USA event 7 weeks after the assassination of Erica's husband, Charlie Kirk, the grieving widow took the stage as the new CEO of TPUSA. She paid tribute to her late husband before welcoming Vance onto the stage to speak. "No one will ever replace my husband," Erica, 37, told the crowd. "But I do see some similarities of my husband and JD, in Vice President J.D. Vance. I do. And that's why I am so blessed to be able to introduce him tonight." As the Vice President, 41, walked out, he and Erica tightly embraced. Following the hug, Erica moved her hand to the back of JD's head, and he rested his hands briefly on her waist. The greeting surprised many internet users, according to a flurry of viral posts on social media that analyzed their hand placements and debated whether the hug was appropriate for the situation, given Erica's recent loss, as well as Vance's marital status. Erica defended the warm welcome when she joined Megyn Kelly on stage at her Megyn Kelly Live event on Saturday, November 22nd. "My love language is touch, if you will," she told the crowd at the Desert Diamond Arena in Phoenix, where her husband's sold-out memorial service was held 2 months earlier. "So, I will give you a play-by-play. They just played the emotional video. I'm walking over. JD is walking over. I'm starting to cry," Erica recounted. "He says, 'I'm so proud of you.' And I say, 'God bless you,' and I touch the back of his head," she continued. "Anyone who I have hugged, that I have touched the back of your head when I hug you, I always say, 'God bless you.'" Megyn responded with a laugh, saying, "They were acting like you touched the back of his ass." Erica agreed, adding, "I feel like I wouldn't get as much hate if I did that." Notably, just over a week later, Erica attended the swearing-in ceremony of the new U.S. ambassador to India, Sergio Gore, where she embraced Gore in a similar manner. Gore was close with Erica's late husband and worked with him on the White House transition team following Trump's second inauguration. In December 2024, the New York Times reported that, in addition to interviewing candidates for their qualified positions, they were also conducting a loyalty test to make sure all new staffers were pro-MAGA. The interviewers asked which candidate the applicants had supported in the 3 most recent elections, what they thought about the events of January 6, 2021, and whether they believed the 2020 election was stolen, the report read. The sense they got was that there was only one right answer to each question. Erica's latest remarks about her embrace with the vice president come just a few days after JD's wife, Usha Vance, was spotted without her wedding ring during a visit to Camp Lejeune alongside First Lady Melania Trump on Wednesday, November 19. Usha and JD have been married since 2014 and share 3 children, sons Ewan 8 and Vivek 5, and daughter Mirabelle 3. Amid instant internet speculation about the Vances' marriage, a spokesperson for the Second Lady, who is very private and rarely speaks with the press, addressed the ringless appearance in a statement to People. The spokesperson noted that Usha is, quote, "a mother of 3 young children who does a lot of dishes, gives a lot of baths, and forgets her ring sometimes." There is a picture of that famous embrace with Erica and JD, and it's just showing from the shoulders up. They're embracing, and she has like all these rings on her hand, and her fingers are enmeshed in his hair. And her head, you can't see her face, you can see her long blonde hair on the side, and he's smiling very big. And then there's another picture where you could see almost their whole bodies, and they're facing each other, and JD Vance has his hands on Erica's hips as she's looking up at him wearing these skin-tight like black latex pants and a white t-shirt, and she's got her hands on his shoulders clutching them as she's smiling up into his face. Photo credit goes to Jonathan Ernst from Pool AFP via Getty. That story was Erica Kirk reveals what JD Vance told her during their intense on-stage hug, by Meredith Kyle. The next story is Pitbull ban in Maryland County to be lifted after nearly 30 years and millions of dollars in enforcement costs, by Rachel Raposis. After a nearly 3-decade ban, pit bulls will be welcomed back to Prince George's County, Maryland. Authorities in the county, located in Maryland near Washington, D.C., outlawed pit bull ownership in 1997 due to what it viewed as a possible threat to public safety, per the Independent, NBC affiliate for Washington, and CBS affiliate WUSA 9. But after new legislation was passed unanimously in November 2025, Prince George's County will once again allow pit bulls to be kept as pets, nearly 30 years after the breed was banned. Pit bulls have long been subject to the misconception that they are inherently violent animals. But as the American Kennel Club noted, quote, dangerous dogs come from irresponsible breeders and owners, not from a specific breed. Still, pit bulls have suffered due to these stereotypes that they're aggressive because of their forced participation in dogfighting rings, causing some to deem the dogs as unadoptable, per WUSA 9. Prince George's County's new legislation regarding pit bulls, approved 7-0 by the County Council on November 18, includes safeguards and an accountability framework for pit bull owners, for Washington reported. Keith Holland, a county resident and pit bull owner, had to send his dog, Thanos, to a different Virginia county because of the ban. He effectively had a long-distance relationship with the pup, but thankfully those days are numbered. Hold the owners accountable for the bad behaviors of dogs. I think that's going to create a more safe and enjoyable PG County for all residents and for all pet owners, he said. County Council Chair Ed Burrows said in a press release per WUSA 9 that the new legislation prevents the inhumane euthanasia of countless dogs who pose no threat, while also bolstering protections for county residents against actual dangerous dogs. The new law focuses on behavior, not breed, the release stated. Burrows added that, despite the long-standing ban, thousands of pit bulls still live in Prince George's County, meaning the estimated $3 million the county spent each year to enforce the ban was wasted. Right now, the ban is in effect, and right now, there are approximately 30,000 pit bulls living in Prince George's County today, he said. The ban that we're spending $3 million a year on to enforce, the ban that we've spent $100 million to enforce, is not working. Prince George's County is one of the largest U.S. municipalities with a breed ordinance in place. According to the Washington Post, the ban will officially be lifted in January 2026. There is a picture of a puppy pit bull that is gray. He's got a very blocky head, these beautiful, soft, kind of light grayish yellow eyes, and floppy ears. He is posing, sitting in the back of a pickup truck with some lumber in it. Very, very cute. It's a stock image from Getty. That story was Pit Bull Ban in Maryland County to be lifted after nearly 30 years and millions of dollars in enforcement costs, by Rachel Raposis. The next story is Elizabeth Smart reveals why her kidnappers and sex abusers remind her of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, by Casey Baker, Carolyn Campbell, and Catherine H. Christman. Elizabeth Smart says the couple who kidnapped and abused her remind her in striking ways of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, another powerful pair accused of exploiting vulnerable girls for years. Smart was just 14 years old when Brian David Mitchell broke into her Salt Lake City, Utah home in 2002 and kidnapped her at knife point in her bedroom while her little sister pretended to be asleep. For 9 long months, Mitchell and his wife, Wanda Barzee, held her captive in dilapidated homes and abandoned campsites in San Diego, California, and Utah. During her imprisonment, Smart was repeatedly raped, sometimes up to 4 times a day. During the harrowing sexual assaults, Barzee often sat next to Smart, sometimes with her body up against Smart's while Mitchell raped her. I mean, not only did Wanda facilitate, but she also encouraged my rapes. Smart, 38, tells People. And from everything that I've learned about Ghislaine Maxwell, she did the same thing. I think she provided, from what I understand, she provided girls. She provided the experiences to happen. Smart is opening up to People ahead of the publication of her latest book called Detours: Hope and Growth After Life's Hardest Turns, debuting in December. As the best-selling author of My Story and When There's Hope, Healing, Moving Forward, and Never Giving Up, Smart says she wrote this latest book to help readers cope with life-altering challenges. Noting that her books have been about patterns in her life, she says, "With this one in particular, how many times are you planning to make it somewhere and then, going down one of those canyons? You can't go any further because landslide, car accident, something happens. And you're forced to just either sit there and legitimately not move for hours or find a different way down." There is a process to getting back on track or altering your life, says Smart, now an activist and the married mother of 3. I think it's okay to be sad. It's okay to grieve the path that you thought you were on and maybe the life you'd imagined for yourself. And it's okay to ask for help. In Smart's case, she was rescued in March 2003 after people who had seen America's Most Wanted saw Mitchell walking around Sandy, Utah, with 2 females, including Smart, disguised in a gray wig and sunglasses, and called 911, People reported at the time. Mitchell and Barzy were immediately arrested on suspicion of aggravated kidnapping, but it took nearly 8 years for the pair to be brought to trial. In 2009, Barzy pleaded guilty to kidnapping and unlawful transportation of a minor, and was sentenced to 15 years in federal prison, according to the New York Times. Released in 2018, Barzy, now 79, was arrested and charged in May with violating the conditions of her release by going to state parks. In December 2010, Mitchell was found guilty of kidnapping and transporting a minor across state lines with the intent to engage in sexual activity, the New York Times reported. He was sentenced to life in prison. Epstein, already a convicted sex offender, was facing trial for federal sex trafficking when he died in jail in 2019. Maxwell was convicted of sex trafficking in 2022 and is serving a 20-year prison sentence. If you or someone you know has been a victim of sexual abuse, text the word STRENGTH to the crisis text line at 741-741 to be connected to a certified crisis counselor. If you or someone you know has been sexually assaulted, please contact the National Sexual Assault Hotline at 1-800-656-4673 or go to rainn.org. There is a picture of Brian David Mitchell as he enters court for his competency hearing taken on February 17, 2005 in Salt Lake City. He has really, really long hair that's parted in the middle and a super wild, long beard and mustache. He's got kind of cold brown eyes and he's wearing a prison issue kind of tan shirt. There is also a picture of Wanda Barzy as she appears in court on April 22, 2003 in Salt Lake City, and she's wearing a blue prison garb top. Her hair is long and kind of blondish brown and gray. She has obviously aged and she's kind of looking off to the side, and her face is a little puffy. Photo credit of Brian David Mitchell is Douglas C. Pizak via Getty, and the picture of Wanda Barzy is also Douglas C. Pizak via Getty. And there is also a picture of Elizabeth Smart. She's posing for a portrait on February 22, 2004. She's a very young girl with really pretty blonde hair. She's got super pink cheeks, and she's wearing a little white sweater, and her head is like kind of cocked to the side. Photo credit goes to Louis Smart via Getty. That story was Elizabeth Smart reveals why her kidnappers and sex abusers remind her of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, by Casey Baker, Carolyn Campbell, and Catherine H. Christman. The next story is Tara Reid taken to hospital after being seen on stretcher in Chicago hotel, by Bailey Richards, Sean Mandel, and Eric Anderson. Tara Reid was taken out of a Chicago hotel on a stretcher. Paramedics moved the American Pie actress, 50, from a hotel lobby to a nearby ambulance early Sunday morning, November 23rd, according to video obtained by TMZ. The distressing incident was captured by an onlooker. A spokesperson for Rosemont Public Safety confirms to People that a call for an ambulance came in from a Chicago area DoubleTree hotel at 12:39 a.m. on November 23rd for a, quote, sick person, and that the patient was transported to the hospital. In footage of the Sunday incident, several individuals could be seen helping the visibly dazed Reid into a wheelchair in the lobby. During one moment, things got tense between a man holding the actress up and another holding onto the chair. "We're going to take you to your room, okay?" one of the men, who wore a uniform, told Reid after helping her into the chair as the actress looked around, seemingly confused and slurring her words. Footage captured later showed paramedics arriving on the scene after an uncertain amount of time. 3 paramedics were seen walking Reid, who was on a stretcher, out of the hotel. The onlooker who captured the video told TMZ that before the paramedics arrived, Reid could be heard saying, "You don't know who I am. I am famous. I'm an actress." Tara Reid has filed a police report after an incident in which she believes her drink was tampered with, Reid's rep shared in a statement. She is cooperating fully with the investigation. Tara is recovering and asks for privacy during this traumatic time. She also urges everyone to be careful, watch your drinks, and never leave them unattended, as this can happen to anyone. She will not be making further comments at this stage. However, police tell People that Reid has not yet filed a report. In March, the actress made a rare red carpet appearance as she stepped out for the premiere of the Indonesian horror film Pabrik Gula in Los Angeles. She has a number of films in the works, including The Dreamer Cinderella, and last appeared on screen in the 2023 vampire flick called Bloodthirst. She's also been candid about the response to her appearance in recent years, after viewers of Season 2 of Special Forces World's Toughest Test, as well as celebs like Billy Bush, criticized her for being too skinny. "If we were overweight, then they can't say anything because that's bullying. But it's the same thing if you're skinny. That's still bullying too," she said in 2023, speaking to the Los Angeles Inquisitor. There is a picture of Tara Reid taken in November 2025, so it's recent. She's at a red carpet event, and she's smiling at the camera. She's got long bleached blonde hair, blue eyes, and nice makeup. She's wearing a graphic t-shirt and a black leather jacket over it. Her nails are painted purple and black pants. Very nice picture. Photo courtesy of Vivian Kalela via Getty. That story was Tara Reid taken to hospital after being seen on stretcher in Chicago hotel, by Bailey Richards, Sean Mandel, and Eric Anderson. The next story is Barry Williams explains how producer Lloyd Schwartz stood up for child actors while filming The Brady Bunch, by Angela Andalaro. Making The Brady Bunch involved keeping the kids lively. The cast and crew of the beloved sitcom look back in the CW's docuseries, TV We Love. Barry Williams credited producer Lloyd Sherwood, whose dad, show creator Sherwood Schwartz, put him in charge of the child actors on the show, for understanding what they needed. The focus really was on the kids and their lives. This is, too, a part of the genius of Lloyd Schwartz and Sherwood Schwartz both. The way to keep us connected to what we were doing here was to let us be kids. Lloyd recalled being tasked with minding the kids and how that leaked into the show's production. I basically would look at the show from the kids' point of view, and my dad would have the point of the view of the adult. When it came to dealing with the kids, Lloyd says, I just treated it a little bit like summer camp. We just wanted them to be kids, which caused problems later on for me. Williams noted that filming involved a lot of waiting around, during which he and the co-stars Christopher Knight, Mike Lukenland, Maureen McCormick, Eve Plum, and Susan Olsen would roam around the Paramount Studios lot. That wasn't something that everyone on the lot loved, however, leading to some complaints. I got a call from the president of the studio saying, "The kids were all running around. You can't have them do this. They're very expensive property," Lloyd recalled. And that just put my hackles up, and I said, "They're not property. They're kids. That's what kids do." He said, "You're not going to change that?" I said, "No, I'm not going to change that. If you want that done, you're going to have to fire me." Well, he didn't. It was pretty ballsy. It was something that the cast was grateful for, Williams says. Lloyd, to his credit, and Sherwood, would both make sure the studio wouldn't intervene, and they let us go, and we had a ball. TV We Love is airing on Mondays on the CW at 8 p.m. Eastern Time and Pacific Time. There is a black and white picture of the Brady Bunch kids, or the actors I really should say. They are all standing in a row from the tallest to the smallest. The little blonde girl is the smallest, and she has her hand on the doorknob of a door that says number 215, Domestic Relations. And it's just, they're all smiling towards the camera. Very cute. Credit goes to ABC Photo Archives, Disney General Entertainment content via Getty. That story was Barry Williams explains how producer Lloyd Schwartz stood up for child actors while filming The Brady Bunch, by Angela Andalaro. The next story is Kathy Griffin says she has quite a few Trumper friends, 8 years after very triggering Trump photo controversy, by Liza Esquibius and Alex Kramer. Kathy Griffin is sharing a valuable lesson she learned in the past decade. 8 years after the comedian, 65, came under fire for posting a photo holding a Halloween mask of President Donald Trump, covered in ketchup to create the illusion that he had a severed head, she is reflecting on how her perspective on life and her career has changed. I think it's accepting that people don't change, she told people at Out Magazine's Out 100 party. I think I spent a lot of my life, whether it was romantically or career-wise, thinking somebody would change, or I could maybe skew someone's perspective. And now look, believe it or not, I have quite a few Trumper friends. I even have friends that didn't vote. They didn't like either candidate, she continues. But I think it's important to be around people that do have different opinions, and we get along. So there's an understanding. And then there are some Trumpers that find me very triggering because of the Trump head picture. So I still am confronted about that photo to this day, and complimented about that photo. Yeah, but I get both. Still, the Emmy winner, who was honored at the event as Advocate of the Year, says she feels it is necessary to be outspoken about what she believes in, including being an ally to the LGBTQ+ community. I think a lot of people are fearful, and I am fearless, Griffin says. I'm trying to get a little fear. I don't have any. If you have any, I'd love some, because this fearless thing is kind of scary sometimes. But like I said, whether it's a court case or marching, organizing or mobilizing, it's important to have our voices heard. This administration is really coming for the LGBT community and everything from making conversion therapy legal again, which as a comic was a joke in my act, Griffin adds. The idea that you think that could work is something, it's just something to laugh at, but now it's real. And I think it's important that everybody stay politically engaged, even if politics aren't your thing, because gay rights are civil rights. In the aftermath of her nationwide photo scandal in 2017, which Griffin claimed on X was inspired by Trump's sexist comments on Don Lemon about Megyn Kelly from the 2015 campaign, she was met with an investigation by the government that resulted in her being placed on the no-fly list and an FBI visit at her home. She quickly lost endorsement deals, her comedy tour, and a long-standing gig as the co-host of CNN's New Year's Eve coverage with Anderson Cooper. "I wasn't canceled," she told the New York Times in January 2022. "I was erased." She returned to the stage in 2023, after a 6-year hiatus with a solo show at the Mirage in Las Vegas. In June of that year, she told people that she was absolutely ready for her comeback. "I am coming out of my cancellation," she went on to declare. That same year, Griffin shared that she had been diagnosed with, quote, complex PTSD, later telling people she believes the fallout from the Trump photo contributed to the diagnosis. 2 years prior, she also received a stage 1 lung cancer diagnosis, leading her to undergo several vocal cord surgeries. "I feel like I figuratively lost my comedic voice because of the Trump photo scandal. I literally lost my voice due to the cancer surgery, and now I finally have my voice back," Griffin said. "I'm a grateful, naughty comedian again." There is a picture of Kathy Griffin at the Out 100 event. She is wearing a hot pink dress. Her hair is like a very reddish-orange color with bangs, and it's slightly curled at the bottom. And she's holding a giant letter A that's red. And behind her, there's like different colored pink and blue balls and some floral stuff. Photo credit goes to Fraser Harrison, Getty for Out.com. That story was, Kathy Griffin says she has quite a few Trumper friends 8 years after very triggering Trump photo controversy. By Liza Esquibius and Alex Kramer. The next story is, Erykah Badu pauses show to call out mean mugging fan for sitting down with arms crossed in front row. By Angel Saunders. Now, keep in mind that Erykah Badu is an artist, and she's sensitive about shit. In a video circulating on social media, the 54-year-old 5-time Grammy winner is seen pausing her concert to call out a fan who sat directly in front of her at a recent show and allegedly gave the singer a scalding look. "Stop! Stop!" Badu tells her band in the clip. "I'm not doing shit else till these people stand up." According to text written over the footage, Badu was in the middle of performing her 1997 hit Tyrone when she spotted the unenthused guest. Despite her blunt request, the crowd began cheering louder as they witnessed Badu speaking up for herself. She waited a few seconds, smiling for the applause before taking aim at someone blocked from the camera's view. "Especially you! You get yo' ass up! Where's she at?" Badu asked the audience while pointing where the person was seated. "Did she leave? Good. It's can't say this word, over here trying to mean mug me the whole time on the front row with her arms folded," the on-and-on singer continued telling the crowd, acting out what the individual supposedly did. Laughs could be heard in the audience as she explained her version of events. "You paid your money to do that? Thank you," Badu said with a laugh. Without hesitation, she seamlessly began singing Tyrone again as her band joined in with perfect timing. "And every time you come around, you got to bring Jim, James, Paul, and Tyrone," she sang. I'm 1,000,000,000% with Erica, with her stance to stop her show and call people out like that. Hell, the next party I throw, it'll be a mandatory everybody dance clause in order for you to be invited. Everything will be free, so what will you have to lose by just shaking a leg or two? One person commented under the X post. Another raved about how the bag lady singer was able to effortlessly switch gears, writing, "That was a smooth transition back to the music," with a laughing emoji. Badu is currently on the Mama's Gun tour and playing throughout the United States, now through December 10, where her final show will be in Dallas, Texas. There is a picture of Erykah Badu on stage in Raleigh in April 2025. She is wearing this very, very tall black, kind of like a pilgrim hat. She has long black hair. Oh, and under the pilgrim hat, there are gold little chains and loops. She's wearing like a dark red lip and black, kind of almost scary eyeliner. And she's wearing a black leather jacket and making like a very, oh, how do you put this face? It's sorry, I'm having trouble finding the perfect word. It's very intimidating, okay? Photo credit goes to Prince Williams via Wire Image. That story was Erykah Badu pauses show to call out mean mugging fan for sitting down with arms crossed in front row, by Angel Saunders. The next story is Melania Trump steps out to receive White House Christmas tree after first-term tension about holiday decor, by Rachel Raposis. Melania Trump stepped out of the presidential residence on Monday, November 24, to welcome this year's White House Christmas tree, marking the start of a holiday season she's aired frustration about in years past. The First Lady, 55, received the Christmas tree from Michigan-based Corson's Tree Farms, following her controversial approach to celebrating the holidays during her husband Donald Trump's first term as president. Corson's Tree Farms won the 2025 Grand Champion Growers title from the National Christmas Tree Association in July, the first tree farm from Michigan to do so since 1985, according to a press release. For nearly 60 years, the winner of the annual contest has provided the White House's official Christmas tree, which was selected in September by Dale Haney, the White House's superintendent of grounds. The Christmas tree's arrival means Melania will soon reveal her 2025 holiday decorations, which become a point of repeated scrutiny during Donald's first term. After choosing a traditional decor style in her first year as First Lady in 2017, Melania opted for a much bolder choice in 2018. 40 blood red, cone-shaped Christmas trees in the aesthetic she dubbed American Treasures. The decor choice quickly stirred speculation online. Some likened the hue and shape of the trees to the red cloaks depicted in the television adaptation of Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale, while others compared them to the sea of blood from The Shining. In a statement at the time, the White House explained the vibrant red was in reference to the pales or stripes found in the presidential seal designed by our founding fathers, and is a symbol of valor and bravery. I think they look fantastic. I hope everybody will come over and visit it. In real life, they look even more beautiful. You are all welcome to visit the White House, the People's House, Melania said of her 2018 Christmas decor, adding that everyone has a different taste. In 2020, CNN shared a leaked audio recording from the 2018 holiday season, which heard Melania complaining about the responsibility of decorating falling to her. Quote, "I'm working my ass off on the Christmas stuff that who gives a fuck about the Christmas stuff and decorations," Melania said in the recording. "But I need to do it, right? Okay, then I do it. And I say that I'm working on Christmas and planning for the Christmas, and they said, 'Oh, what about the children that they were separated?' Give me a fucking break," she continued in the recording, seemingly venting about how she was simultaneously fielding criticism related to her husband's policies. Earlier this year, Melania shared a glimpse into this year's holiday decor in a short video posted on X on October 8. In the clip, she can be seen arranging a gold-themed Christmas display featuring garlands and ornaments. Weeks later, Melania unveiled her White House Halloween decor, her first such responsibility of the season. The First Lady opted for a simple, non-spooky aesthetic, lining the chairs and walkways outside with pumpkins and fall leaves. There are quite a few pictures here that I'm happy to describe for you. The first one is of First Lady Melania Trump as she walks down the White House steps to receive her centerpiece Christmas tree, which was taken on November 24th, 2025. So Melania is wearing a cream dress that's belted at the waist. Her hair is long and brownish blonde. There are two Clydesdale horses that are decorated in this beautiful, whatever these horses wear. It's really pretty and it's got silver buttons on it. And it's pulling a wagon that has the Christmas tree in it. And there look to be Marines, or at least they're dressed that way, that are helping her wearing white gloves, white caps, dark blue uniforms that have gold buttons on them. Photo credit goes to Chip Samadavia via Getty. The next photo is probably taken just a few minutes later. Melania Trump is standing next to the wagon that's green and is decorated with green wreaths with red ribbons that are velvet. And in the wagon is the Christmas tree. There is a banner hanging on the wagon that says White House Christmas Tree 2025. And there are three men in black suits and black top hats that are driving the Clydesdale horses. Melania is smiling at the camera. Photo courtesy of Alex Robelweski via AFP via Getty. The next photo is of Melania Trump in 2018. She is seen walking down 2 rows of those red Christmas trees that are very sharp triangles. She's wearing a black long coat. Her hair is down, and she's got her hand in her pocket as she's looking to the right, kind of almost like she's inspecting the trees. Photo credit goes to Andrea Hanks via Planet Pics, via Zuma Wire, via Shutterstock. The last photo is of Melania Trump taken in 2017. It's inside the White House and she's standing in front of 2 white marble columns. The floor is like a kind of a tan and cream checkerboard that's made out of marble. There are 6 Christmas trees behind her that have white lights and snow on them. And you can see an American flag to the right and a young girl in a ballerina costume doing a plie. Photo courtesy of Sal Loeb via AFB via Getty. That story was Melania Trump steps out to receive White House Christmas tree after first-term tension about holiday decor. By Rachel Raposis. That concludes today's readings from People magazine. This has been Melanie Guralnick for Vocal Point, home of the Georgia Radio Reading Service. Thank you for listening to Vocal Point.